Once a government is committed to the principle of silencing the voice of the opposition, it has only one way to go, and that is down the path of increasingly repressive measures, until it becomes a source of terror to all its citizens and creates a country where everyone lives in fear. Harry Truman, 1950. YouTube has a big problem with censorship. Despite this, I understand why YouTube does what it does, and I think people often forget how much of a luxury the platform of YouTube actually is. YouTube is a completely free-to-use platform in which anyone can upload as much content as they want, in which they can technically say whatever they want, all of which has to be stored on server farms paid for by YouTube, and in which every day the company of YouTube is constantly fighting one fire or another due to the actions of its users to allow us to be able to use the platform. Every day, copyrighted material, music and content is uploaded to YouTube, which YouTube allows us to do. And while in a lot of cases when we do hear about something that YouTube has done, it is in a negative light, I believe we do still need to give YouTube the credit it deserves in the actions that it does do on behalf of its community and us that use the platform. Doesn't change the fact that they do often make very dumb changes though. However, whenever a new problem does arise, in most cases, they try to overcorrect, leading to a blanket fix to a tiny problem. And as annoying as it may be, once again, I can understand why. There is a theoretical conundrum I like to pose to people. Say you own a Smartie production factory. Every day, 500,000 bags of Smarties are produced, all of which have no peanuts in, so are safe for those with nut allergies to eat. Unfortunately, an employee dropped one of their M&Ms into the mix, whether intentionally or not. Would you risk sending out that shipment of 500,000 bags of Smarties, or would you waste them all due to the 0.0002% chance that the person who gets the packet with the M&M in happens to have a peanut allergy? This is what YouTube has to do on a daily basis. And because they can't risk it, they have to put a blanket decision to destroy all the Smarties in order to destroy the 0.0002% of the contaminated shipment. However, unlike our hypothetical Smartie factory, YouTube does actually have ways they could mitigate the problem, which would make the user and creator experience far better. Despite this, they don't. And once again, I can understand to an extent. YouTube is such a complicated system that in order to fix any of the big problems, the platform would most likely have to go offline for at least 24 hours to try and fix one of the many problems. However, YouTube is so woven into the fabric of the internet, this would lead to web-wide problems and most likely billions, though perhaps just hundreds of millions, so not that bad, of lost revenue for YouTube and trillions of lost revenue for the rest of the internet. It's sort of like trying to undo a typo in a legal document by deleting the entire document. Yes, you fixed the problem, but you also caused many other problems. It's essentially burning your house down to kill the spider. Despite this, I definitely believe there are ways of alleviating the problem of censorship on YouTube, and is definitely something YouTube should focus on instead of UI changes that don't actually change anything except cosmetically. And I'm not talking about censorship of swear words, or very clearly not appropriate words. That I can understand. If you say fuck 10 times in a row, your video probably isn't suitable for advertisers. Despite the fact that I can say, for a fact, I have never once in my life seen a product that I've been advertised on YouTube and thought, I was going to buy this product, but then it ran before a video I watched on YouTube in which I didn't enjoy or agree with what was said. So now I'm not going to buy it. Never once in my life has that happened. However, YouTube has to also blanket punish any video that talks about mental health and mental well-being related subjects and words that are associated with the topic. Even though in most cases, when people do talk about death, suicide or self-harm on YouTube, it is in a supportive manner in which the speaker is speaking out, either about their own experiences or trying to help someone else struggling with these problems, and is done so as a sign of solidarity to help those who are struggling with such problems, or is done as the punchline to a dark humor joke with no intention of being hurtful. Unfortunately, there is a tiny vocal minority who uses it to spread negativity, hate, and misinformation. They are the 0.0002. They are the peanuts. And because of that, any video that talks about such subject has to be demonetized or suppressed. So, how do we fix this? While it was a fucking terrible idea, like, seriously, YouTube, why did you think this was a good idea to begin with? The construct of YouTube Heroes was a good idea, relying on the community of the platform to help moderate the platform. Just don't give them the power offered in the YouTube Heroes video. That was one of the worst decisions you could have made. Anyone actually remember YouTube Heroes? YouTube has done their best to hide that ever existed. But we remember, YouTube. We all remember. My suggestion would be to implement a review system that if a video contains words referring to self-harm or mental health, the channel is put on a watch list for 30 days, in which time any AdSense made from said videos will not be paid out until next month's payment. If no other videos are flagged within a 30-day window, the AdSense is paid out. But if multiple videos get flagged, a manual review of the channel is done, in which it is checked if those words are said in a positive or negative manner. If they are found to consistently be said with a negative manner or intentions, the video stays demonetized and any of the held AdSense is funneled into a suicide prevention or mental well-being charity through YouTube after another additional 35 days. This would allow for those who believe the verdict was incorrect to appeal the outcome, and if found incorrect, to receive the money they earned and that is owed to them. However, if this appeal is found to be promoting negativity or hate around the subject, or depending on the context or severity of how it was talked about, the channel may get a strike for hate speech. Alternatively, if the check finds they're saying it in a supportive or neutral manner, they are paid the money made off of those videos. On top of which, channels can manually opt into a system where they can agree, please scan my channel for videos that contain words of self-harm or subjects referring to death, in which all videos within the last 6 months have that AdSense held while they are being scanned for the wording and determined if they were said in a positive or negative manner. After which, the video will either be flagged as green and the AdSense accumulated in that time paid out, or flagged as red and all videos found to have that wording in them will be demonetized, leading to the channel being placed on the watch list, creating the likelihood that those who do talk about such subjects in a negative manner are less incentivized to do so because it only punishes them for their actions, whereas those who talk about such subjects in a healthy and appropriate manner have nothing to worry about. However, if a channel is deemed to be negatively talking about such subjects, the channel can appeal. However, if the verdict comes back and the channel is deemed to be negatively talking about such subjects, when in fact they believe they were talking about them in a healthy and appropriate manner, the channel can appeal it and get another review by an actual person who will look over the verdict. But if it is determined to be valid, the channel gets a strike. After the review, if the channel is found to be talking about such subjects in an appropriate manner, the channel will have the next 6 months where they will not be flagged for mental health related words, after which they would need to resubmit for the next 6 months by having their videos reviewed again. Of course, there will be those who try to abuse this system and get the 6-month window of freedom. So, there should also be a report button in which viewers can report the video, and if the channel consistently keeps getting flagged, a new review happens within the 6 months, where the channel can be flagged as red and placed on the list. with all the videos talking about such subjects or using such words demonetized. While this wouldn't completely fix the problem, and there would be those who fall through the cracks, as well as those who will be falsely flagged even though they are in the right even after a manual review, this would go a long way towards fixing one of the many problems and would make it so those who try to help, or those who are simply saying the word naturally in a statement or sentence, aren't punished because the act of the tiny percentage of the platform who are malicious. Because in most cases, those who are using such subjects for malicious reasons don't care if their video gets monetized. The video will pay out far more in controversial exposure. And even if that video is demonetized, they have now got a massive new audience with eyes on them where they can direct them towards their other videos which are not demonetized, leading to those who do make these videos with malicious intent getting a slap on the wrist, whereas the rest of the platform get the paddle. I don't know if this will fix the problem, but I think this is a good stepping stone towards fixing the problem. I'm sure there are also problems with such a system, but let me know what you guys think, as I think this is a really good reason, as I believe this is a good idea, but I'm not smart enough to be able to see why it may not be. So if you have an opinion on this, as I said, let's start a discussion, leave a comment and explain why you believe this is good or not. Thanks for watching, bye.